Whatever your motivations, you need to make this right, Rachel.
Number 10. Cheated on Finn with his best friend.
That's right, Yentl. Your sweetheart? He's been lying to you. Because he and I totally got it on last year.
Feeling wounded after finding out her boyfriend Finn had slept with Santana over a year ago, Rachel impulsively seeks her revenge in the form of a makeout session with Noah Puckerman. Puck feels guilty about hurting his best friend and leaves halfway through, further highlighting how poor Rachel's judgment is in this episode, as even Puck knew it was a bad idea. Rachel does eventually confess to Finn, directly describing her motive as wanting to hurt Finn and make him feel bad.
I was so mad at you, and I was so hurt that I wanted to make you feel as bad as I felt.
Rachel cheating was clearly no mistake, and it was especially cruel knowing Finn had been cheated on in the past. At this point, Finn breaking up with Rachel was absolutely justified.
I knew you were a lot of things, Rachel, and I loved you because and in spite of all of them, but I never thought you were mean.
Number 9. Her attempt to date Blaine.
I have a question for you. I wanted to know...
Is she drunk? Yeah. Uh-huh. All right, I'll see you then.
Rachel becomes infatuated with Blaine after the two of them share a drunken kiss at a house party. She asks him out despite her best friend Kurt's obvious crush on Blaine, seemingly convinced her kiss has caused him to become either straight or bisexual. First of all, that's not how sexuality works, and second of all, she shouldn't have even tried to pursue Blaine in the first place if she knew Kurt liked him.
You can't be serious.
When we kissed, it felt good.
It felt good because you were drunk.
Thankfully, the Rachel and Blaine relationship storyline is cut short when Rachel kisses him again, sober this time, and Blaine can confidently say that he is undoubtedly gay.
Yep. I'm gay.
Number 8. Ditched her own Broadway show.
I know I said I would never miss a show, but I just saw my doctor and he said that I have the flu.
When someone as driven and determined as Rachel achieves her lifelong dream of starring in a Broadway show, you'd think she'd do everything in her power not to ruin such an incredible opportunity. Unfortunately, Rachel seemed to let her success go to her head as she decided she was already too big for Broadway and ditched a performance of Funny Girl to audition for a television pilot in LA. This episode shows just how selfish Rachel could be.
This is a disaster! You have to call Sydney right now and tell him the truth.
What? No, and ruin my TV and my Broadway career all at once. Kurt, you have to help me, please.
She saw an opportunity for her own personal success and dropped everything to take it without thinking about how her actions would affect the cast and crew of Funny Girl who relied on her as the lead.
I know I made a mistake, but I had an opportunity come my way, and I thought...
Oh, yeah. You thought.
Number 7. Trying to keep Finn from rejoining the football team.
Just tell me why it's okay for you to feel safer with me not on the football team, but it's not okay for me to feel safer with you in your old reindeer sweater.
After Finn is kicked off of the football team, Rachel worries that if he were to rejoin, then his resurgence in popularity would threaten their relationship. When she does finally allow him to go back, she becomes jealous of the attention he's getting.
Let's face it, Finn, the only way that this relationship is gonna work is if we're both losers.
So she tests his loyalty by sending Quinn, Finn's ex-girlfriend, to try to ask him out.
I think we should be together. We'd be a shoo-in for homecoming king and queen.
Not only is it bad enough that Rachel doesn't seem to care about her boyfriend's hopes and desires, but she also doesn't trust him to be faithful to her, despite the fact that Finn has been nothing but supportive and loyal throughout their relationship.
So congrats. Looks like he really loves you.
Number 6. Her horrible treatment of Kurt in New York.
Rachel's always been a little insufferable, but ever since she won Winter Showcase, her ego and behavior are out of control.
When Rachel and Kurt moved in together in New York, it seemed like it might be possible for two equally ambitious and talented divas to coexist.
That was my first big win. That was the foundation that I built all of my confidence on for the past 2 years.
Oh, consider it cracked. Get ready for Diva Off Part 2. And this time, I'm not throwing anything. Enjoy your tea.
Unfortunately, this proved too good to be true as Rachel's ego grew even further, and she became a terrible roommate and an even worse friend. From inviting her boyfriend to move in with them without consulting Kurt, to not so subtly implying that Kurt was jealous of her success and talent, Rachel continuously treated her best friend in the most disrespectful and self-righteous manner. Rachel could not bring herself to acknowledge that Kurt is just as talented as she is, and it almost destroyed one of her closest friendships.
I can't handle the pressures of stardom, not without losing my best friend and making every single person hate me.
Number 5, slapped Santana out of jealousy.
It's really hard being a star.
Okay, Rachel's logic makes absolutely no sense in this episode. Rachel has been cast in a starring role on Broadway, but becomes infuriated when she finds out Santana has auditioned to be her understudy.
Why did you audition without telling me?
Well, because I figured that we were gonna fight about it anyway, so we might as well go at it afterwards.
After spewing a barrage of insults at each other, Rachel shocks Santana by slapping her hard across the face.
You are awful, and that is never gonna change.
Rachel's use of physical violence was in no way justified in this scene, but honestly, neither was her anger over Santana auditioning for the understudy role. It wasn't like Santana was going to steal the role of Fanny Bryce away from Rachel, but Rachel clearly felt jealous of and threatened by Santana regardless. Number 4, the Run Joey Run music video.
I hope you enjoy my bad reputation.
It's no surprise how much Rachel enjoys watching boys fight over her, considering how much she loves being the center of attention. In this episode, Rachel makes a controversial music video in which she casts 3 different boys as her love interest, including her boyfriend Jesse and ex-boyfriend Finn. Rachel edited the video to make it seem as though all 3 boys were competing for her love, even though none of them even knew about the triple casting in the first place.
Well, why don't we just, take a moment to really absorb what we've just watched?
This is garbage. Finn, no, he's right.
Rachel hoped the video would make her seem more desirable and popular, but it really just made her seem manipulative and self-centered once everyone realized what she'd done.
How could you do this to me? To all us guys, is your stupid reputation more important than your relationships?
Number 3, tries to ruin Sunshine's audition.
Hello, hello, baby, you could, I can hear a thing. I have got no service in the club, you say.
In the first episode of Glee's second season, we meet Sunshine Corazon, a foreign exchange student from the Philippines with a seriously powerful voice.
Hi. So, here's the address for the audition tomorrow and helpful directions. Look forward to seeing you there.
When Rachel finds out how talented Sunshine is and that she's interested in auditioning for the Glee Club, Rachel gets so jealous that she gives her the address of a literal crack house instead of the auditorium where auditions are being held.
I didn't send her to an active crack house.
Rachel faced no consequences for her actions and, when called out, showed no remorse for what she'd done. This moment was so bizarre, and it was hard to believe even Rachel would do such a terrible thing, but it really proves how far she's willing to take things when she feels threatened.
What if Sunshine can dance? Then your contributions to Glee will be even more insignificant than they already are now. I did this for you guys.
Number 2, her complete lack of interest in Finn's hopes and dreams. From very early in the series, Rachel had a clear vision of what she wanted her future to look like, and she wasn't going to let anything get in her way.
You know how I motivate myself? Not with anything artificial. I set a goal, and I won't rest until I reach it.
This attitude is admirable when it comes to overcoming adversity in life, but not so much when it means ignoring the wishes of the person you want to spend your future with.
Have you ever thought about what I'm gonna do in New York?
Well, one thing I know is for certain is we'll figure it out together.
Right, that's really nice, but I feel like I need to start thinking seriously about what's next for me.
When Finn suggests an alteration to Rachel's meticulously planned future, she outright rejects it without even entertaining the thought, leaving Finn feeling very underrepresented in the relationship.
You ever thought about California?
It's selfish for Rachel to think she can control someone else's future like that, but also immature for her to think a one-sided relationship like that would ever last.
What are you doing?
I'm thinking about my future.
I thought it was our future.
Of course it is.
Okay.
It's our future, but I just feel like the conversation's been a little one-sided.
Before we unveil Rachel Berry's worst offense, here are a few honorable mentions. Throwing a tantrum over not getting a solo.
Tina's doing the solo.
I'm sorry, there must be some sort of mix-up. I thought I made it very clear that anything from West Side Story goes to me. Maria is my part. Natalie Wood was a Jew, you know. I've had a very deep personal connection to this role since the age of 1.
Her ableist comment towards Artie.
Mr. Schuster, do you have any idea how ridiculous it is to give the lead solo in Sit Down and Rock on the Boat to a boy in a wheelchair?
I think Mr. Shu is using irony to enhance the performance.
There's nothing ironic about show choir.
Rachel.
Claimed a teacher inappropriately touched a student.
He was touching Hank, caressing him. It was so wrong.
Shot down Mercedes' request to sing more songs by Black artists.
Could we maybe try something a little more Black?
I agree. We do an awful lot of show tunes.
It's Glee Club, not Crunk Club.
Her crush on Mr. Shu.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Casserole's almost ready. Hope you like venison.
Number 1, her silent protest diva moment.
Which is why I've decided to feature Brittany and Mike Chang's sweet moves in our performance.
Wait, they're gonna dance in front of me while I sing my solo?
You're not getting a solo for this competition, Rachel.
When Rachel finds out she won't be singing a solo at sectionals, she shows up to Glee Club with duct tape over her mouth as a form of silent protest.
Rachel, what are you doing?
I'm not doing anything. You've silenced my talents. I'm merely protesting.
She feels it symbolically represents how her talents have been silenced, which she explains out loud, defeating the purpose of a silent protest.
My talents are wasted in this club. My star shines too bright, and I think you're threatened by it.
Take that off! I'm tired of this, Rachel. You have a terrible attitude, you're a lousy sport, and it is not okay anymore.
It's absolutely infuriating to see someone so egotistical, she can't allow anyone else to be in the spotlight. But it's even more frustrating that her protests seem to have worked. Mr. Shu calls her out on her behavior in the moment, but in every other competition that Rachel participates in, she gets her solo. Her major diva behavior should not have been rewarded, no matter her talents.
Well, I'm upset. I'm furious about this. About a couple of things, actually.
I'm sorry you're disappointed. But you know, you could also make the choice to be happy.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from Ms. Mojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.